Hi and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the question, why was there a gap in your employment? For many people this is a common interview question, and the reason it's asked is usually because there's a gap on the resume. And the reason the question's asked is to understand more about why there is a gap there, what's happened. Many candidates actually leave gaps on employment. It could be 2 to 3 months in a bid that the interviewer won't notice. But again, for an interviewing perspective, this can make recruiters or it can make the actual employer a little bit nervous. So this is why they want to understand why there is a gap in the actual employment history. Having a gap in your employment history isn't a bad thing as long as you can explain why there's a gap. Now, there's a number of reasons why there is a gap in employment. Number one, usually it's kind of unemployment or redundancy. Number two, it could be caring for a family member. Number three, it could be raising a family. Number four, it could be traveling. The temptation with many candidates is that they kind of miss 2 or 3 months out on a resume, thinking an interviewer won't notice. But an interviewer will want to explore, particularly good ones, will want to explore in more detail why there is a gap. And as I say, it's not a bad thing. You've just got to be in a position to be able to give an answer as to why there's been a gap in your employment. What you need to remember here is what's not acceptable. And what's not acceptable is being in a situation where you may have been unemployed for a year and not doing something about it. Again, doesn't matter the length of time, the situation, as I say, whether caring for a family member, raising a family, whatever it may be. But if you're doing something in the meantime to help your career along, then they're positive steps. So what we're going to do now is going to teach you how to answer the question and give an example as well. As with all interview questions, you need to provide an example. And as always with the tutorials, we structure our answer using CAR. Now CAR stands for C, which is context, which means what was the situation. A is action, so what actions have you actually taken? And R means what results have you actually achieved, what actually happened. And the reason we use this is just simply to organize your thoughts more clearly. So now let's take an example of how to answer the question from somebody's perspective who has been unemployed. 6 months ago, I was made redundant from my job in retail sales and initially felt tempted to apply for a similar role. However, upon reflection, I took some time to investigate new sales careers. I wanted something more challenging. Initially, I found it difficult to apply for a new role because it's something I had not done for many years. I felt concerned about my lack of experience. However, I decided to take action. The action that I took was to investigate what skills made a good corporate salesperson. My next step was to understand where I could access the support whilst I was searching for a job. I did this by using the support of the employment agency I was registered to, and they directed me to a number of training courses which included communication and presentation skills, managing customer service, goal setting and reaching targets, advanced influencing and persuading. The result of taking those actions is I now feel more confident. I have enhanced my skills. I've demonstrated to myself and to other people that I can turn the negative experience of unemployment into a positive one, which demonstrates my resilience, which is another key trait needed to be a successful salesperson. I know that developing and creating presentations are a key part of this role, and I would relish the opportunity to demonstrate my skills and utilize my previous experience by becoming part of your team. So this gives you an example of how to use CAR. So if you can remember there in that answer, the C is about the context, which is the situation. So this person had been unemployed for 6 months. Obviously there was a challenge, there's a career change going from a retail sales position, looking to advance their career into a corporate sales position. The actions that were taken were obviously to do something about it, which was to go on training courses, to seek help from other people. And the result was that this person now feels more confident, they're more skilled, they feel in a much better position to apply for a position that was probably out of their reach 6, 7 months ago. So again, it's turning a negative of unemployment into a positive, and that's all employers want to see, is just an explanation of how and why.